Hey everyone, Kate here to discuss self-care for course creators. And part of self-care is really deciding what are your limits, like recognizing those limitations that you have. And those limitations are often driven by your gifts. So you are great at some things, right? Fan freaking tastic. That's why you're often creating a course, is you want to take your experience, your talents, your gifts, some lesson or message that you have, and you want to share it with others. And that is beautiful and fantastic. Well, often the movement to do this sort of work requires expertise in lots of things, and you may not have it. And that's okay, right? Here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about being okay with being good enough at some things to get started, recognizing that your expertise is in something else, right? Now, how crazy is it to think that you can be good at all the things? All the things. You can't do it, right? There's no one talented enough to be great at all things. Think about the most talented people you know are good at the few things that they're good at. You might have an idea when you think about that particular person, a particular word comes in mind. Like you might see me and think courses. That's what I'm good at. You might see my daughter and think DNA, so we all have particular things we're great at. And that is the way that we were designed. We're going to be good at one thing. And when we chase incredible deep knowledge so that we can be even better at that one thing we're good at. So I spend a lot of time not just being good at courses and creating courses, but also like consuming information that's going to make that course even better. So I look at instructional design, I look at adult learning, but I also look at neuroscience and human psychology and how people act and behave and why they behave in that way, personalities. All of that knowledge is going to deepen my ability to create even better courses. And that is what I ought to do. Now, I also have to be, good enough at other things in order to share that. For example, YouTube. Like I have to be good enough at YouTube in order to make this. I have to be good enough at presenting in order to do this. And, good enough at video editing or finding somebody who's good at it in order to do this. So there's the things I'm great at, which is course creation. I have a lot of experience with that. And the things that I just have to be good enough. Now, what happens a lot of times is that we're so used to the pursuit of being excellent at something that we want to be excellent at all the things. And so I want you to stop that. So that's my advice. Stop it. When you chase competence in everything, it's exhausting. And you can't be good at everything. And you end up feeling bad because I'm not good enough at this, that, and the other thing. That's fine. You're not supposed to be. Good enough is good enough. The other thing that can happen is when you are chasing excellence in all the other things, it broadens your focus. You are taking time away from that thing that you're excellent at. So let's talk about how using that expertise, the thing that you're excellent at, can help you when you're first starting out. So when you're first starting out, I want you to know that templates can help. Now, generally, I'm super against templates. And whatever you're an expert at, you probably are against templates too. Templates are very accessible and easy ways to get started, but templates can be helpful when you're not good at all the things. And for example, I have a friend named Carrie. She is fantastic at visual design. And so she creates templates that allow me to have accessibility to things that are just beautiful without actually having to do all the work in it. And I don't have to do all the scientific research into what type of things work best for me. No, have a conversation with Carrie. She figures out your archetype and then she recommends like which type of templates work best for your business. And that's fantastic. And I don't have to be really great at it. Another place that templates can work is if you are new to course creation, you can use templates. I actually have templates for how to get started with your analysis. So templates can be a great way to get good enough in those particular areas. The other part is to use your expertise and your personality to generate conversations with people who might be in your audience. And people who are in your audience, according to you, I mean, the thing that you're trying to do, if you're trying to help people in a certain way, those people need your help and may be looking for solutions. So when you can introduce yourself as somebody who has that expertise and generate like a really good conversation with them so they can kind of get to know you and you can get to know them, that's going to help you in so many ways. It's going to help you test your assumptions. So you might be good at a certain thing, like say it's creating apple pie, and your assumption is that people want to create apple pie in order to contribute to their family or contribute to well-being or have something to take on Thanksgiving dinner. So you can test those assumptions when you talk with your audience, like, why is making apple pie important to you? Maybe it isn't important. Maybe there's something else, or maybe it's that they're looking for a specific type of apple pie. Maybe they have an overgrowth of apples, so they're looking for different ways to use apples. I'm just throwing these ideas out, but consider how your assumptions about your audience may be verified and validated by having conversations, and how they could be tweaked or corrected by those conversations. The other is by having these conversations with people in your audience, you are building your audience. So you're building some sort of level of confidence that you have the answers that they're searching for. Now these people see like how wonderful you are, how much expertise you have, and they want to follow you, not because your visuals look good, unless of course that is your expertise, but they're not following you because of some catchy phrase or something that you're doing outside of your expertise. They're following you because of your expertise and your personality. And lastly, the other thing that can really happen when you work with them is that you can generate traction for your business. So you could do a small thing that tests an assumption that you might have. For example, on this course on creating apple pies, you could do a test session with your audience that says, we're going to make the best pie crust ever, and do a little event with that particular audience and test how that goes. Now, what you learn from that test will help become a part, an activity that you would add to your course when you get to that part of creating your course. But if you're not ready for the course yet, and I say not ready, doesn't mean that you don't have that expertise. You have the expertise, but you may not be ready yet because you haven't tested those assumptions. You haven't built your audience. You haven't tested those activities or ideas you have for what can make your course stand out and be very different from other people's. So this gives you a chance to test those things out so that you can put that all together when you start building that finalized course. Super exciting to do, and you are generating excitement in the process. Now think about this. Think about the fact that so many people decide they want to build a course, and so they have all this knowledge. Maybe it's about creating coffee or a good apple pie or helping people heal from their past tragedies or traumas. So they have all this idea, and then they go and they get a course platform and they break up their content and they create all of that, but they haven't yet tested the assumptions that they have on their audience. They haven't yet built that audience. They haven't tested those activity ideas. And so all they're doing is taking content and breaking it up into little pieces and putting it out there. That is a very, very difficult way to be successful in creating a course, because your assumptions could be wrong and because you haven't generated the audience. So you're not seeing the traction, versus doing small things with a few people and getting the traction. And then you have people telling other people, and now you're gaining momentum and having fun while doing it, versus being off by yourself in a room and creating everything on your own and being stressed out and trying to create the course. Isn't that so much better to create a course with that audience? I mean, that is fantastic. I want you to focus on what makes you you, your expertise, and then I want you to be good enough to get started. Now, once you start having some smaller successes and start building that audience, you'll be able to delegate those things that you may not be super great at. You can buy those templates so that you can build some beautiful posts that people want to follow. You can do all those other things, but it all starts with getting to know your audience, focusing on your expertise, and building conversations with people because they like you and they trust you and they see that what you have to offer benefits them. So there's so much other content that I have on building courses. I hope you follow me. I hope you like this video. and have a beautiful day.